Slavic Christians are the largest religious group in Europe. Their liturgy is celebrated in two different rites, Eastern and Western. The faithful are largely divided between Catholic and Orthodox traditions. But the origins of their baptism go back to a single united church before the schism, and to two saint brothers, Cyril and Methodius. In 1980, Saint Pope John Paul II proclaimed Saint Cyril and Methodius co-patrons of Europe, and the Orthodox Church even sees them as equals to the apostles. Father Jaromir Zadrapa, an official from the Vatican's Pontifical Council for the Promotion of Christian Unity, says their work is the best example of how much the Church can do when united.
I am a Slavic from Moravia, from where Saint Cyril and Methodius arrived, where we can feel, even today, the fruits of their mission. We are very grateful, of course, to them. And John Paul II proposed their mission for the whole world. Saint Cyril and Methodius are a great bridge between East and West, between the Eastern Byzantine tradition and the Western.
Che poi portata in Occidente.
Saints Cyril and Methodius were born in the eastern part of the Roman Empire, in the city of Thessaloniki, at a time when the Church was still united. At their birth, they were actually given the names Constantine and Michael. Both brothers received a brilliant education. Michael became a monk and took the name Methodius, and his brother Constantine became a philosopher.
Cyril
was sent to the Saracens on a small mission, and then when he returned, both were sent by the emperor and patriarch to carry out the mission among the Khazars in Chersonesus in Crimea. Where then, according to tradition, they found the relics of Saint Clement.
Reliquie di San Clemente.
After their successful mission and return to Constantinople, Constantine decided to join his brother in religious life, taking the name of Cyril. The two brothers enjoyed a simple monastic life, but God had prepared another mission for them. Reports of great conversions from among the Khazars reached Moravia, today's Czech Republic. Their prince, Rastislav, asked Emperor Michael III for an evangelization mission to be sent from Constantinople.
I would like to quote Saint Cyril. I thank God for speaking more languages than all of you. But in the Church, I prefer to pronounce 5 words to express what I think, in order to instruct others rather than 10,000 in an unknown language.
The brothers were convinced that Christ, who is the incarnation of the Logos, the Word of God, should speak the language of the local people. This is why, together with their disciples, they translated passages of the Bible and liturgical books into the Slavic language. Thus, the brothers created the Glagolithic alphabet, which marked the beginning of the development of Church Slavonic language. The news of their mission and this new way of evangelizing reached the Pope, who ordered the brothers to come to Rome to discuss whether to translate the sacred books into the new Slavic language.
Sono scesi giù a Roma.
They came down to Rome upon the call of Pope Nicholas I, but while they arrived, the Pope died. And so, new Pope Adrian II blessed their mission. And even more, their translations of the Gospel and the liturgical texts were placed on the altar of the Church of Santa Maria Maggiore. And it was a sign of the recognition of their mission.
Segno della riconoscenza di quella missione.
The brothers also brought with them the remains of Pope St. Clement, the patron saint of their mission. Pope Adrian II, in a grand procession, brought the relics into the basilica constructed on top of the ancestral home of St. Clement. The solemn tradition of the translocation of the relics has been honored every year since.
This sense of unity, sense of one church, even if there were two traditions, they are respected. So you can see, they very much respected the Apostolic See of Rome and the Bishop of Rome.
Come vescovo di Roma.
The brothers' mission testified to their fidelity to St. Peter and the popes. In fact, they were created bishops by Pope Adrian II himself. Shortly after arriving in Rome, St. Cyril fell ill and died. On February the 14th, 869, he was buried in the Basilica of St. Clement, near the saintly pope whom Cyril had revered for so many years. But St. Methodius' mission wasn't finished yet. He became the first bishop of the Slavic people, suffered imprisonment for the faith, and together with his disciples brought the gospel to the whole region of Central Europe, the Balkans, and Kievan Rus, whose legacy is seen in the Russians, Belarusians, and Ukrainians. The story seems incredible, but as Father Jaromir points out, important documents confirm their works of evangelization. With the letter Gloria in excelsis Deo to Prince Rastislav of Moravia in 869, Pope Hadrian II creates the Archbishopric of Moravia and appoints Methodius as its bishop. In 880, Pope John VIII writes a letter to Prince Sviatopolk of Moravia, approving the use of the Slavic language in the liturgy. Pope Leo XIII in 1880, with the encyclical letter Grande Munus, extended the feast of St. Cyril and Methodius to be celebrated by all the Catholic Church. 100 years later, in 1980, St. Pope John Paul II, in his apostolic letter Egregii Virtutis, proclaims St. Cyril and Methodius patrons of Europe, together with St. Benedict. And 5 years later, in 1985, St. John Paul II writes the encyclical letter Slavorum Apostoli to summarize the church documents and exalt both the religious and cultural mission of the two saintly brothers, Cyril and Methodius. The cultural legacy of the two brothers is immense. Now, the Cyrillic alphabet developed by the disciples of St. Cyril and Methodius is used by more than 50 nations in Europe, Central Asia, and Mongolia. But the spiritual legacy of the Holy Brothers is even greater. Their mission laid the foundations for the baptism of the Slavic people, which has developed into one of the most beautiful and rich expressions of Christianity.